Well, we're starting in KwaZulu-Natal, where Durban townships remain volatile as attacks on foreigners continue unabated. 7 people have been killed and scores injured since the violence spread to Umlazi, south of Durban.
I was at 4 shops here, so 3 of them was inside the hostel, so they loot out everything. There's nothing inside left now. Everything is they take all the people.
We appeal for calm, an end to the violence and restraint of violent actions.
Africans should come together and should live everywhere where they want to live.
We are all brothers now, and we must be seen as working together and in unison to stem, beyond stemming, stop this violence once and for all.
Something that would only take us backwards.
That must never happen again. Never happen again in South Africa or in any other country.
I know you burned the car. Listen, I know you burned the car. Let's go and say, please, the car is for a customer. Don't do this to us. Don't do this to us.
Brother,
don't do this to us, my friend. We are all African brothers.
Sorry, brother, my brother.
I'm helping people here every day.
Sorry, brother. Sorry, my brother. Sorry, my brother.
Let me help you take this one in. Let me help you take this one in. Come, let's go.
About
15 people arrived. They started breaking down the bar placards. I got scared when they started breaking down the windows. Then they started shouting, "We want you out of here."
Vincent Chumba miraculously survived the brutal attack by a group of about 15 men. They stabbed him all over his body after forcing their way into his Savannah Park house near Durban.
They hit me with a shambok until I couldn't feel pain anymore. Then they shouted, "They're going to kill me." And they put a knife to my throat.
Vincent says the men then pinned him down on the floor, all along shouting that they were going to kill him. They then tried to cut off his genitals.
They used a blunt knife to try and cut my genitals. They kept on asking me, "Where is my money?" I've never felt so much pain in my life. I can't believe a human can do this to another human.
Vincent was one of hundreds of foreign nationals who came under attack in the last few weeks' xenophobic violence. Foreign-owned shops were plundered and looted. Police were deployed to the areas. Foreigners feared for their lives and only returned to their shops under the cover of night, accompanied by heavy police presence.
This thing is erupted like, as something like a fire all over. My worry is not only about the business or the shop only, but the life of people which been burned alive, being killed, being assaulted.
The violence and plundering also spread to foreign-owned shops in parts of Gauteng. Keeping angry mobs out would prove nearly impossible. After the advent of democracy in 1994, South Africa became a beacon of hope to other countries, leading the way in enshrining human rights into its laws.
Let freedom reign. God bless Africa. I thank you.
Today, and in fact since 1994, it has been a different story, as some foreign nationals have come under attack in sporadic outbursts of xenophobic violence. In 2006, 30 foreigners were killed in xenophobic violence in the Western Cape. In 2008, widespread xenophobic violence erupted in 4 provinces across the country. In 2009, xenophobic attacks, again in the Western Cape, led to the deaths of 7 foreigners. And in 2011, 3 people were killed in Gauteng, including the shocking case in Diepsloot of Farai Kujirichita that Special Assignment investigated. And in December 2012, 45 more foreigners were killed in xenophobic attacks in the Western Cape. At the start of this year, 4 people were killed in Soweto in xenophobic violence. Critics say there's a perception that not enough was done over the years to prevent xenophobic violence from breaking out again.
The first time around, South Africa could be forgiven. But the second time around, South Africa cannot be forgiven for not fully anticipating this or for not arresting it early enough. There's a perception out there that the government, that structures of civil society, that religious and faith groups, that other structures of leadership that exist did not take this seriously enough in the beginning, and this thing evolved to what it has evolved.
You will, of course, be aware that when it happened in 2008, we adopted a certain approach. We had interactions, we talked to everyone, we talked to communities, as well as the foreign nationals. We talked to the UNHCR, the United Nations that deals with refugees. We did what we thought was enough at the time.
As the most recent attacks unfolded on our airwaves and was covered in the daily news, the international community also shifted its focus onto our country's xenophobic violence.
South Africa may be paying some cost for what has happened, and of course we've seen some civil society formations challenge their own governments to act in some way to send a signal to South Africa that what is happening in South Africa is not correct. And of course, there are some who are even now talking about perhaps some African governments either boycotting or downgrading their delegations to the African Union Summit.
At the dawn of democracy in 1994, South Africa became an attractive destination for economic and political African migrants seeking refuge here. But amid high levels of poverty and scarce resources, marginalized South Africans end up competing for jobs with foreigners. Xenophobia reached an unprecedented level in 2008. That year, 64 foreign nationals were killed in the attacks, despite police enforcement sent to the affected areas. But analysts say the problem of xenophobia is also experienced in other countries across the globe.
All human beings have prejudice. The Asians have prejudice against other Asians, and they have prejudice against non-Asians. The Europeans have prejudice among themselves, and Europeans have prejudice against us as well. We also have prejudice against other people. We also have prejudice against each other.
In 2011, Special Assignment investigated the brutal mob murder of Zimbabwean national Farai Kujirichita in Diepsloot.
They opened up a way for him. There was a burning caravan that was burning here, and a shack that was also used as a tuck shop. They were demolishing that shack. They were taking everything from the shack, throwing on the caravan that was burning.
As the cheering crowd grew larger, more and more community members joined in while the brutal attack was captured on camera. How can a group of people, many of whom are capable of acts of kindness and caring, participate in this kind of mob justice or watch without intervening?
Our history was very violent in nature. And in nature, it was brutalizing, dehumanizing. It stripped people of their sense of dignity. And the messages that people got from there was that my life is worthless, or the life of a black man is worthless. And what has then happened when you don't deal with trauma like that? You internalize it, you internalize those messages. They become, when you get triggered.
The same question of group mentality can be asked about looting, burning down shops and chasing foreigners out of communities from where they've lived for many years.
You are seeing now that the very same people who have experienced this dehumanization and brutalization are treating other people the same way. And actually the people who look like them. And our history also had a very strong culture of othering, where if you are the other, if I'm in power, I'm better than you, I'm superior. And you are inferior and you are worthless. You are subhuman, actually.
Meanwhile, Vincent Chumba does not know if he will stay behind in South Africa or return to his family in Zimbabwe.
This boy is 2 years now.
He's big enough for us to talk to each other.
He says he can't understand how men known to him and from his neighborhood could turn on him in such a brutal way.
What we know with both collective violence and collective trauma, you have these people that we call trauma carriers. And these are people who, of course, themselves have been affected by these issues. They tend to really be intelligent. They're able to mobilize people until they reach into that heightened state of the mob psychology. Because for people to reach the stage of mob psychology, they need to, there's a certain heightened state of emotions where the group becomes bigger than me, where things that I would normally not do as an individual, I will do them because I'm anonymous. You know, I take no responsibility.
Hundreds of foreigners have taken shelter at displaced camps like this one in Durban. Some are waiting to hear if the situation will normalize and must decide if they will return to their South African homes. At some camps, emotions run high, and a visit by President Jacob Zuma is planned to restore calm.
That those who would want to go home, we are going to arrange for you to go home. The only thing I wanted to say, because it is important for us to say this as government, that we are not saying to you, go away. As government, we are not saying so. It is yourselves who are saying you want to be helped to go home. That is why I was saying those who are not going home, who are remaining here, we are firstly going to stop violence and then allow them to stay here in peace.
It's a very terrible situation because we're all human beings. We share the same region. We're all Africans.
30-year-old Malawian Stanley Nyirenda and his family have been living in South Africa for 4 years. Stanley says they had to flee their home and are too scared to return. They are waiting for a truck that will take him, his wife, 2 children and their belongings back to Malawi.
I'm not okay because I'm leaving everything, my business behind, my everything behind. My child has been disturbed. I'm psychologically I'm disturbed too, so I'm not feeling okay.
While the South African government has had to deal with the fallout from the xenophobic violence, hundreds of foreign nationals have started to pack up their belongings to make their way back to their home countries. While many foreigners have decided to remain behind in South Africa, law enforcement officers have been deployed to the borders to ensure a smooth transition for those who want to leave.
I think in the long run, there is a sense of we need to have something much more significant in how we deal with these attacks and how we explain away what we've done for people to be comfortable that this is not going to happen again.
In an unprecedented move, the army is deployed to affected areas. It's a show of force. While soldiers surround hostels in Jeppystown, police officers move in. Some cases of xenophobic violence have been described as criminal elements, but amid growing global pressure, the latest violence have seemingly galvanized government into more decisive action.
I think the response of Africa towards the attacks has multiple layers. I think the one of them has been shock. I think almost every other country there has been shock, and a significant amount of anger at South Africa, especially because it's happened a second time. And I think the anger is what we've seen unfold from some demonstrations, albeit they were peaceful. But I think there's been rumblings in various places saying this has to stop.
Yet another peace march, this time in Johannesburg. South Africans and foreigners come out in large numbers to speak out against xenophobia.
Congo, DRC, Nigeria, all of us African.
We all fight to be independent, and what these other people try to blackmail this country is not fine. We have to help each other, as Mandela used to tell us to do.
We are all Africans, so we must keep each other together.
Could this public display of mass demonstration and government's action signal a shift in the trends of South Africa's xenophobic violence?
We need to lead on social issues, we need to lead on political issues, we need to lead on humanistic issues, we need to be seen to be most sympathetic and sensitive to those about the other, not just about ourselves, but about even how we relate with the other person. I think the worst we could do would be to throw away that goodwill in looking at smaller, short-term, trivial issues like someone coming in here and earning a living. I think the bigger picture and the more robust picture is to say that we have been a mirror, we have held a light for the continent on a number of issues, and we shouldn't let that light go out.